Picture this for a second. You're a university professor, you're teaching an intro-level course, and you've got 500 students. Midterms roll around, and suddenly you have a literal mountain of 500 handwritten exams sitting on your desk. It is going to take weeks of your life, I mean countless late nights, just to grade them all. And your students? They're going to be agonizing over their scores that entire time. Well, welcome to today's Explainer, where we're unpacking a really fascinating 2026 report on the rapid digital transformation that's stepping in to solve exactly this problem. We're going to look at how modern universities are completely ditching this absolute nightmare of manual grading for comprehensive AI-powered evaluation platforms like Qorrect. If you've ever anxiously waited weeks to get a single test score back, you're definitely going to want to see where the future of assessment is heading.
Okay, so here is our roadmap for today's Explainer. We'll start with the manual grading crisis, figure out what evaluation systems actually are, look at the 6 types of assessments, unpack their key features, see how they boost learning outcomes, and wrap up with some FAQs and what this all means for the future. Let's jump right into Section 1, the manual grading crisis, outgrowing traditional methods. We really need to look at the sluggish past that modern universities are trying so hard to leave behind.
So what actually happens when a massive institution outgrows its legacy grading system? We all know the student side of the story, the sheer anxiety of waiting. But behind the scenes, according to our source material, universities are struggling with administrative workloads that are frankly unsustainable. Think about the crazy logistics of managing thousands upon thousands of physical paper exams. You've got the very real security risk of losing a blue book in transit, totally inconsistent grading standards from different teaching assistants, and honestly, worst of all, a severe lack of actionable data. Thousands of human hours are just being wasted on tedious data entry instead of actual teaching. Without smart systems, universities are stuck with this archaic manual process that just crumbles under the weight of a massive student body. And this illustrates the contrast perfectly. It's incredibly stark. Traditional methods rely on those piles of paper exams, manual grading, heavily delayed feedback, and fundamentally weak security. But modern education, it demands something completely different. Today's landscape requires seamless, remote, and hybrid learning environments. It requires instant data so administrators can make fast, informed decisions. It demands enterprise-level scale that can handle 50,000 students at once, all while maintaining super strict academic integrity. The old paper and pen methods simply cannot scale to meet these modern demands. There's just no way. Let's transition over to Section 2. What are evaluation systems? The digital assessment cycle. So the overarching solution cited by the report is the adoption of comprehensive digital platforms. And it's super important to note here, a smart evaluation system isn't just a digital gradebook, and it definitely isn't just some simple quiz app you download on your phone. Disconnected apps just create massive data silos where information gets lost. Instead, this is an end-to-end management tool. It handles literally everything. We're talking from the initial generation of the exam questions and automated grading, right through to providing granular feedback, tracking long-term student performance over 4 entire years, and generating high-level academic reporting for the whole institution. It pulls everything out of those silos to give a truly holistic view of student progress. Moving right along to Section 3, 6 types of assessments, a framework for every learning stage. Now, instead of looking at assessments as just one big scary final exam, the source report breaks these systems down into a complete interlocking framework that follows a student's entire journey. Let's walk through a hypothetical semester. Before a class even starts, a diagnostic system checks your baseline knowledge so the professor knows exactly where the class stands. During the semester, formative systems constantly monitor ongoing learning to catch any gaps early on with low-stakes quizzes. Then, at the end of the term, summative systems step in to measure that final academic achievement. All the while, automated and online systems are running in the background. They're the engine using AI to do the heavy lifting of grading and making sure testing is secure, whether you're in a massive lecture hall or just chilling in your dorm room. Finally, if we zoom all the way out, outcome-based systems track the specific high-level metrics used by deans and accreditation boards. It's really a complete living ecosystem. All right, let's dive into Section 4, Key Features and Capabilities, the tech behind the transformation. The report highlights enterprise platforms like Qorrect that utilize a very specific set of technical capabilities to make all of this possible. Automated grading completely wipes out that manual workload we talked about earlier. Real-time analytics give professors instant insights. Cloud-based accessibility is absolutely vital here because it means a student can securely take an exam from literally anywhere in the world on any device. That means education is actually accessible. And we have to talk about AI-powered security monitoring, because how does that actually work? Academic integrity is a massive priority in hybrid learning, right? So these platforms use AI to create incredibly secure environments. This can mean locking down the student's browser so they can't just open up Wikipedia during a test, or even flagging highly unusual behavior, like a student constantly looking off screen so it can be reviewed later. Add in flexible formats and enterprise scalability, and you've got tech specifically built to handle the massive complexities of a modern university.
Section 5, improving learning outcomes, beyond just measuring performance.
So why does all this back-end technology actually matter to you, the student sitting at your desk? What's the real takeaway here? Well, these platforms follow a highly logical four-step flow that directly improves the actual quality of your education. Step 1, they provide real-time feedback. The days of waiting weeks are officially over. This instant feedback leads directly into Step 2, identifying learning gaps immediately. Once an educator knows exactly where students are struggling, we hit the magic of Step 3, enabling data-driven teaching. For example, a professor might look at their real-time dashboard and notice, wow, 60% of the class completely failed that question on statistical variance. Instead of just blindly plowing ahead, they can pivot and review that exact concept the very next morning. Ultimately, this culminates in Step 4, supporting personalized learning. It's about tailoring the educational experience to exactly what diverse student populations need, exactly when they need it.
Finally, let's look at Section 6, FAQs and grading bias, addressing common concerns. Because, naturally, shifting to a highly automated model brings up some very serious questions. This is perhaps the most critical and honestly most fascinating FAQ addressed in the source material. Do digital systems actually reduce grading bias? Think about the very human, very well-documented phenomenon of the hangry grader, where a human professor completely subconsciously might give slightly lower scores to essays they read right before lunch when they're tired and hungry compared to the ones they read right after their morning coffee. Can a computer actually be fairer than that? Well, according to the data in the report, the answer is a resounding yes. Modern systems help reduce grading bias by applying automated and standardized assessment methods that minimize subjective judgment. Basically, by forcing objective scoring and utilizing standardized rubrics systematically across the board, you completely strip away that human subjectivity. And artificial intelligence doesn't get tired after grading 200 papers. It doesn't need a coffee break. It ensures a transparent, relentlessly consistent, and fair comparison of student performance every single time. The report also addresses another major, super practical concern: system fatigue. If a university adopts an amazing new piece of tech, but it requires a separate login, a different password, and a totally different workflow, faculty will universally reject it. Nobody wants that. So to ensure these smart systems aren't just another complicated app, they rely on LMS integration as a magic bullet. They plug seamlessly into a university's existing learning management system. This connects your course lectures, your homework assignments, and these advanced assessments all within one unified digital ecosystem. Zero extra friction. So, the crucial point to take away from this entire explainer is this final question. As smart platforms like Qorrect take over the tedious, exhausting mechanics of manual grading, test security, and granular data analysis, what is the future role of the professor? The ultimate goal of this technology isn't to replace the teacher at all, it's to entirely eliminate the administrative burden weighing them down. If a machine is doing the evaluating, it frees up human educators to do what they actually do best: mentor, inspire, and deeply engage with their students on a human level. How will human professors redefine their role in the classroom of tomorrow when they finally get their time back? That is a really provocative thought to leave you with. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.